Part 1. The awakening Commander Jiho pressed his hand against the cold glass of the observation deck. Beyond it, the rings of Saturn glowed softly in the distant sunlight. Somewhere hidden in those rings, the last 12 ships of Earth's secret fleet waited for their orders. He had spent 3 years preparing for this moment, and now that it had arrived, he felt nothing but cold fear in his chest. Behind him, the door opened with a soft hiss. Dr. Murray walked in, carrying a data tablet that glowed blue in the dim light. She looked tired. They all looked tired these days. Building 12 warships in secret was hard enough. Convincing the Earth Council to let them actually use those ships was proving impossible. The signal is still broadcasting, Mireille said quietly. She stood beside him and looked out at the stars. 500,000 years and it never stopped. The power core on that colony ship must have been incredible. Jiho nodded. He had listened to that signal 100 times now. It was old, so old that the language was barely recognizable as human, but the message was clear enough. "Help us, please, anyone. Help." Captain Yuan called again, Mireille continued. The council voted. They said no. "They want us to destroy the ships and come home." "Of course they did," Jiho said. The council had been afraid of space for so long that fear had become part of Earth's culture. It made sense. 500,000 years ago, humanity had sent out colony ships to 20 different star systems. None of them ever returned. No signals, no messages, nothing. Just silence. Humanity had waited for 10,000 years before giving up hope. Then they had destroyed the gate technology, burned the star charts, and turned Earth into a fortress. They swore they would never leave again. But Jiho had been born different. He had grown up reading the old books, the ones from before the isolation. Books about exploration and discovery. Books that said humanity belonged among the stars. When Captain Huon had started the secret shipbuilding program 30 years ago, Jiho had been one of the first to volunteer. "What do we do?" Mireille asked. Jiho turned to look at her. "What do you think we should do?" She smiled sadly. "I think we should go. Those are our people out there. Or they were. 500,000 years is a long time, but that signal is still calling. Someone built it to last. Someone wanted to be found. Even if it means disobeying direct orders." "Especially then," Mireille said. "The council is wrong. They have been wrong for 500,000 years. We cannot stay on Earth forever hiding and afraid. If we do not go now, we never will." Jiho looked back at the stars. He knew she was right. The council would never approve. There would always be another reason to wait, another excuse to stay home. Fear was comfortable. Fear was safe, but fear was also death. Just a different kind of death, slow and quiet. "Send the signal," Jiho said. "Tell Hyun we are launching in 6 hours. Tell him the council can court-martial us when we get back." Mireille nodded and left. Jiho stayed at the window watching Saturn's rings. In 6 hours, 12 ships would emerge from those rings and activate their fold drives. In 6 hours, humanity would return to space for the first time in 500,000 years. He wondered if they were ready. He wondered if anyone could be ready for what they might find. The launch went smoothly. All 12 ships dropped out of the rings at the same time, their hulls gleaming in the sunlight. They were beautiful ships built from recovered technology and new innovations. Each ship carried 300 crew members. Soldiers, scientists, engineers, and pilots. The best that Earth had trained in secret over 3 decades. Jiho stood on the bridge of the EFS Eternal Vigil, the fleet's flagship. Around him, dozens of crew members worked at their stations. To his left, young Ensign Daeon sat at the pilot controls, her hand steady on the navigation panel. To his right, Lieutenant Sora monitored the security feeds, watching for any problems. "All ships report ready," Daeon said. Her voice was excited. She was only 23, too young to remember the old fears. To her, this was an adventure. "Captain Hyun sends his regards," Mireille said from her science station. "He says to bring everyone home safe." Jiho activated the fleet-wide communication channel. "This is Commander Jiho to all ships. 500,000 years ago, our ancestors reached for the stars and vanished. Today, we go to find out what happened to them. We go to bring them home, or at least to learn their story. Whatever we find out there, we face it together. Activate fold drives on my mark." He took a deep breath. Around the bridge, everyone watched him. Mark. The universe twisted. That was the only way to describe it. Space folded in on itself, and suddenly Saturn was gone. The familiar yellow sun of Earth vanished. Colors that had no name streaked past the windows. Jiho felt his stomach lurch, but he kept his face calm. The fold drive was new technology, barely tested. They were gambling that it would work over 1,400 light-years. 3 months later, they arrived. The Kepler system spread out before them like a jewel. 7 planets orbited a red dwarf star, each one perfectly positioned in the habitable zone. On 5 of those planets, the sensors detected structures, cities, roads, power signatures. Life signs? Jiho asked. Mirai studied her screens, her face growing pale. No life signs at all. The cities are there, the power is still running, but there is nobody home. Dayun turned in her chair. How is that possible? Those are human cities down there. Millions of people should be living in them. I do not know, Mirai whispered. I do not understand. Everything is active. The lights are on, but there is nobody there. Jiho felt cold spread through his chest. Find that distress beacon. Find out where it is coming from. It took 2 hours. The signal originated from the 3rd planet, Kepler 442b, a small city on the northern continent built into the side of a mountain. When they got closer, the scanners picked up something else. A tunnel. No, not a tunnel. A massive shaft going straight down into the planet's crust. It went down 800 kilometers before the scanners could not reach any deeper. There, Mirai said. The signal is coming from down there. Jiho stared at the readings. 800 kilometers underground. What had they found? Prepare a landing team, he said quietly. We are going down. As the ships moved into orbit around the dead colonies, Jiho could not shake the feeling that something was watching them. The cities below were empty but perfect, as if everyone had simply stood up and walked away in the middle of dinner. Nothing was broken. Nothing was burned. They had just vanished. And somewhere far below in the darkness beneath 800 kilometers of rock, something was still broadcasting. Still calling. Still waiting. 500,000 years was a long time to wait. Jiho hoped whatever was down there would be happy to see them. Part 2. What was lost? The landing craft descended through the thin atmosphere of Kepler 442b. Jiho sat strapped into his seat, watching the empty city grow larger through the window. Beside him, Specialist Borum checked his equipment for the 3rd time. The military historian had been quiet during the entire flight down, his eyes fixed on the data pad showing images of the city below. It looks just like the training simulations, Borum said finally. Early colony architecture, standard Earth design from the first expansion era. This is exactly what our ancestors built. Lieutenant Sora, sitting across from them, adjusted her weapon. Then where did they go? Nobody answered because nobody knew. The craft touched down in what looked like a central plaza. Through the windows they could see buildings standing clean and undamaged. Trees lined the streets, overgrown but healthy. A fountain in the center of the plaza still sprayed water into the air. The water was clear. Atmosphere is breathable, the pilot called back. Temperature is comfortable. No radiation, no toxins. It is safe. Jiho stood and grabbed his helmet anyway. We wear suits until we know more. Everyone stay close. They stepped out onto alien soil that felt like home. The city was beautiful in a strange, haunting way. Everything worked. Street lights glowed softly in the dim red sunlight. Doors stood open, inviting. But there was no sound except the wind and the fountain. Mirai knelt beside a flower bed and ran her scanner over the plants. These are Earth species, roses. They have been growing here for thousands of years, maybe longer. They have adapted to the local conditions. The power grid is active, Sora reported, checking a nearby building. These lights are on. The heating system works. Someone could move in today. Borum walked to the fountain and looked into the water. This is wrong. This is all wrong. Cities do not stay like this. Even if everyone left, things should be broken down. Rusted, decayed, this looks like everyone left yesterday. Jiho agreed. They spent 6 hours exploring the city. Every building told the same story. Homes with furniture still in place. Stores with products on shelves. Schools with books on desks. A hospital with beds made and ready. But no people, no bodies. No signs of struggle or panic. It is like they just stopped existing, Sora said quietly. They returned to the ship as the red sun set. Jiho ordered the fleet to explore the other colonies. Each ship went to a different planet. Each reported the same thing. Empty cities. Active power. No people, except for the 2nd planet. The report came from Lieutenant Commander Yuna, leading the team on Kepler 186F. Her voice over the radio was tight with tension. "Commander, you need to see this. We found something different." Jiho took a shuttle to the second planet. What he found made his blood run cold. This city was not empty and peaceful. The city had fought. Massive walls surrounded the colony, built quickly from whatever materials the colonists could find. Weapons emplacements pointed at the sky. Blast marks scarred the buildings. And in the center of the city, carved into a monument 50 meters tall, were words in Old Earth standard. "They came from below." "What does that mean?" Yuna asked. "From below what?" Borum studied the defensive positions. "They built these walls in panic. Look at the construction. It is sloppy, rushed. They were terrified of something. And they expected it to come from underground, not from space. All the weapons point down." Mirai scanned the monument. "This was carved recently. Well, recently in geological terms. Maybe 10,000 years ago, long after the colonies were established." "So something attacked them," Sora said, "years after they arrived. They had time to build cities, to settle in. Then something came from underground and they had to defend themselves." "But defend against what?" Jiho asked. "Where are the enemy bodies? Where is any evidence of what they fought?" They found no answers. Only more questions. The third planet held the biggest mystery. Kepler 62a was where the distress signal originated. When Jiho's team descended into the mountain city, they found the entrance to the massive shaft. It was huge, 20 meters across, with a spiral ramp leading down into darkness. "The beacon is at the bottom," Mirai said, checking her scanner. 800 kilometers down. They took vehicles designed for underground travel. The descent took 2 days. 2 days of driving down through layers of rock, past empty stations and abandoned checkpoints. The walls of the shaft were smooth, cut by advanced tools. Every 100 kilometers they found another city built into the walls. All empty, all dark. At the bottom they found the vault. It was enormous. A chamber carved from solid rock 10 kilometers across. And in that chamber, in rows that stretched beyond sight, were thousands of clear cylinders. Inside each cylinder was a human body. "They are in stasis," Mirai whispered. She was crying. They put themselves into suspended animation. All of them. Thousands of people. Jiho walked between the rows. Each cylinder had a small screen showing vital signs. Every screen showed the same thing: 0, flatline, death. "The systems failed," Mirai said, her voice breaking. "The power held for a long time, but not forever. They died in their sleep, probably hundreds of thousands of years ago." Borum found the distress beacon. It was a small device attached to the main power core, built to last forever. Next to it was a data terminal. He activated it and a hologram appeared. A woman in a colony uniform, her face tired and scared. "This is Colony Director Park of Kepler 62e, the woman said. "If you are seeing this, then you came from Earth. You came back for us. I am sorry. We tried to wait, but we ran out of time. We ran out of everything." The others went first. "The cities on the surface planets. We heard them screaming on the radio and then silence. We knew we were next, so we ran. We ran deep as we could go, and we sealed ourselves in here. We hoped Earth would send help. We hoped someone would come. But you took too long." The hologram flickered. The woman wiped tears from her face. "They are still here. The ones who came. They are still somewhere in this system, sleeping, waiting. Do not make noise. Do not use bright lights. Do not wake them, please. Just take our bodies home. Let us rest on Earth. That is all we ask now." The hologram ended. The chamber fell silent except for the sound of Mirai sobbing. Jiho stood there, surrounded by thousands of dead colonists who had waited for rescue that never came. 500,000 years too late. They were 500,000 years too late. "Commander," Sora said suddenly. She was looking at her scanner. Her face was white. "We have a problem." "What?" "Energy signatures. Massive ones. Waking up in the outer system." She looked at him. 12 of them. Each one the size of a moon. Jiho ran back to his vehicle, calling the fleet. "All ships, emergency status. Prepare for possible hostile contact." "What did we do?" Borum asked as they raced back up the shaft. Jiho thought about the woman's warning. Do not make noise. Do not use bright lights. They had brought 12 ships. Their engines burned hot and bright, tearing holes in folded space. They had sent shuttles down to every planet. They had activated lights and scanners. They had made so much noise. "We woke them up," Jiho said quietly. "Whatever killed the colonies. We just woke them up." Part 3, The dwellers below Jiho reached the surface just as the first contact happened. Not with the alien moonships, but with something else entirely. "Commander," Daeon's voice crackled over the radio. "We are receiving a transmission. Audio only. It is coming from inside the planet. From where? Everywhere. The whole planet is broadcasting at us. The language is strange, but I think it is human. I think someone is alive down there." Jiho's heart pounded. "Put it through." Static filled his helmet, then words. Broken, ancient sounding, but definitely human. A voice speaking Korean mixed with something else. Something that had changed over enormous spans of time. "Sky people. Loud people. You came from up. You woke the sleepers. Why you come?"
"Why you make light?"
Jiho keyed his radio. "This is Commander Jiho of Earth. We came looking for our lost colonies. We did not know anyone was alive." "Who are you?" Silence for a long moment. Then, "We are the ones who stayed. The ones who went deep when the sleepers came. We are human, like you, but not like you. You are from Earth?" "Yes, Earth sent us." Another pause. "Earth is real? Earth still lives?" "Yes," Jiho said. "Earth lives. Earth came back." The voice broke. It sounded like crying. 500,000 years. We counted, we waited. 500,000 years and Earth came back. Mireille was listening on the same channel. She spoke softly. "We are sorry we took so long. Can we meet you? Can we talk face to face?" Yes, come to the deep entrance. North side of the mountain. There is a door. It was sealed, but we will open it. Come meet the dwellers below. Come meet your lost family." The door was exactly where the voice said it would be. A massive metal gate built into the mountainside, covered in centuries of rock and dirt. As Jiho's team approached, the ground shook. Ancient mechanisms groaned to life. The gate split open, revealing a tunnel lit by soft blue lights. Inside they waited. 20 figures standing in the darkness. They were human, but changed. Tall, so tall that Jiho barely came up to their chests. Thin and pale, with skin that almost glowed in the dim light. Their eyes were enormous, adapted to darkness. They wore simple clothes made from some kind of fungal fiber. One stepped forward. She moved gracefully despite her height. "I am Hana. I speak for the dwellers. You are the first sky people we have seen in 500,000 years." Jiho removed his helmet. "I am Commander Jiho. We came from Earth. We found the distress beacon." Hana nodded slowly. "The beacon, yes, our ancestors built it. They hoped someone would come. But you took so long. So very long." Her voice held no anger, only sadness. "Come, Elder Kyung wants to meet you. He keeps the long memory. He will explain what happened." They followed Hana deeper into the tunnel. The city that opened up before them was like nothing Jiho had ever seen. Carved entirely from rock, it spread through the planet's crust like a vast three-dimensional web. Buildings grew from the walls. Gardens of glowing mushrooms provided food and light. Water flowed through channels cut into the floor. And everywhere there were people. Thousands of pale, tall humans who stopped to stare at the newcomers. "How many of you are there?" Mirai asked. 3 million, Hana said. "Across 7 planets. We are connected by the deep roads. We have lived here for 500,000 years, hiding from the sleepers, waiting for Earth." She led them to a vast chamber where an old man sat on a chair of carved stone. He was ancient, his face lined with countless years, but his eyes were sharp and clear. "Elder Kyung," Hana said. "The Earth people are here." The old man studied them for a long time. Finally he spoke. "Sit. I will tell you what your ancestors did. I will tell you why we live in darkness." They sat. The story Kyung told was horrible. 500,000 years ago, the colony ships arrived in the Kepler system. They found perfect worlds and began building. For 50 years, everything went well. The colonies grew. Children were born. Humanity was spreading to the stars. Then the Veiled Ones arrived. They came from nowhere, Kyung said. 12 ships, each the size of a moon. They did not attack. They simply took. They harvested us. Our knowledge, our culture, our DNA. They took everything that made us human and stored it in their archives. Then they moved on. "But some of you escaped," Jiho said. "Yes." My ancestors realized what was happening. They saw the Veiled Ones were drawn to bright things, hot things, loud things. So they went dark. They shut down the surface cities and ran underground. They took everyone they could and sealed the deep vaults. "The people in stasis," Mireille whispered. Kyung nodded. "Those were the ones who ran too late. The Veiled Ones had already begun harvesting them. They were sick, damaged. So they sealed themselves away, hoping to wait until the Veiled Ones left. But the Veiled Ones never left. They went to sleep among the asteroids, waiting. Always waiting. Waiting for what? Sora asked. For someone to wake them. For someone to make noise and light. Kyung looked at Jiho. For someone like you. The words hit like a physical blow. We led them here, Jiho said. No, Hana said quickly. They were already here. You just reminded them we exist. She's right, Kyung said. The Veiled Ones would have awakened eventually. Perhaps now is better. Perhaps now we can finally leave this darkness. Leave? Borum asked. To go where? Home, Kyung said simply. To Earth. That was always the dream. To return home. Jiho looked at these changed humans, these dwellers who had survived 500,000 years in the dark. We will take you home. All of you. But first we must deal with the Veiled Ones. Kyung stood slowly. Come, I will show you something. Something my ancestors preserved. He led them through more tunnels to a sealed chamber. Inside in a block of crystal was a body. No, not a body, a thing. It was 3 meters tall, made of material that looked like metal and crystal and flesh all at once. It had too many arms, too many joints. Its face was a smooth surface with no features except a single vertical line. This is a Veiled One, Kyung said. The only one we ever killed? It took the lives of 10,000 humans to bring it down. My ancestors preserved it so we would never forget. Mireille approached the crystal, her scanner active. It is amazing. It is technology and biology combined. The whole thing is a computer. A living computer? Yes, Kyung said. And it still contains information. 500,000 years of data locked inside it. If you can access that data, perhaps you can understand them. Perhaps you can fight them. Or talk to them, Jiho said. Everyone turned to look at him. Talk? Hana said. They harvest species. They destroy civilizations. They preserve species, Jiho corrected. Kyung said it himself. They take knowledge and culture and store it. They do not burn it. They save it. He looked at the crystalline body. Maybe they can be reasoned with. Or maybe, Sora said quietly, they will harvest us all, dwellers and Earth people together. Alarms began blaring. Dion's voice came over the radio. Commander, the Veiled Ones are moving. All 12 ships are powering up weapons. We have maybe 6 hours before they are in firing range. Jiho looked at Kyung. Will you help us? Will you share what you know? The old man was quiet for a long time. Then he smiled sadly. For 500,000 years, we dwellers survived alone. We needed no one. But you came back. Earth came back. So yes, we will help. He turned to Hana. Take Engineer Taman from his workshop. Bring him here. If anyone can access this dead sleeper's mind, he can. As Hana ran to fetch the engineer, Jiho looked up at the ceiling, thinking about the 12 moon-sized ships above them. 6 hours until the Veiled Ones attacked. 6 hours to find a way to stop an enemy that had already destroyed humanity once. Part 4. The price of Light Engineer Taman arrived within the hour. He was a dweller, tall and pale like Hana, but his hands moved with the confidence of someone who understood machines better than people. He approached the crystalline body without fear and placed his tools against its surface. I have studied this thing my whole life, he said quietly. My father studied it. His father before him. 30 generations of engineers all trying to understand sleeper technology. He activated his tools and lights began dancing across the crystal. And now maybe we finally learned something useful. Can you access its communication systems? Mirai asked. She stood beside him with her own scanners. Maybe. The sleepers do not communicate like us. They use mathematics. Pure mathematics. Numbers that represent ideas, his tools hummed. If I can wake up just a small part of its mind, we might be able to send a message. And if it wakes up completely? Sora asked, her hand on her weapon. Then we all die, Taman said simply. But we are probably going to die anyway, so what does it matter? Jiho appreciated his honesty. Above them, 12 moonships were preparing to harvest humanity again. They had perhaps 3 hours left. Suddenly, Taman froze. I found something. A communication protocol. It is still active, still listening. The sleepers never truly die. They just wait. He looked at Jiho. I can send a message. What do you want to say? Jiho thought about all the empty cities. All the people in stasis who died waiting for rescue. All the dwellers who had lived 500,000 years in darkness. Tell them we want to talk, he said. Taemin's fingers flew across his controls. Mathematical patterns flowed from his tools into the crystal body. For a long moment, nothing happened. Then the crystal lit up. Bright. So bright that everyone had to look away. A voice filled the chamber, speaking in pure mathematics that somehow everyone could understand. You speak. We did not expect speech. We expected running or fighting. You are the colony remnants. You survived in the deep places. Interesting. We are human, Jiho said to the light. We came from Earth. We want to understand why you harvest species. The light pulsed. We preserve. Species destroy themselves. They always destroy themselves. We save what we can before the end comes. We have done this for 3 million years. We have preserved 4,218 species. Humanity was meant to be 4,219. But we survived, Hana said. We hid from you. Yes, you adapted. You chose darkness and depth over light and expansion. You chose survival over glory. This is rare. This is interesting. Mirai stepped forward. If you preserve species, why do you need to harvest them? Why not just take what you need and leave them alive? Because they will not stop. Humans do not stop. You expand. You consume. You make war. You will destroy yourselves eventually. Better to preserve you now while you still have beauty and knowledge to save. That is not your choice to make, Jiho said. Then whose choice is it? The light asked. Yours. You are young. Your species is young. We have watched 4,000 civilizations rise and fall. We know how this ends. Maybe this time it ends differently, Jiho said. Maybe we can prove we are worth saving without being destroyed. The light pulsed thoughtfully. How? Before Jiho could answer, alarms blared. Lieutenant Yuna's voice came over the radio, panicked. Commander, we have a problem. One of our ships just fired weapons. Someone targeted the Dweller City on Kepler 186F. The whole settlement is gone. What? Jiho felt his blood turn to ice. Who gave that order? Officer Junho. He claims the Dwellers are corrupted and dangerous. He says they should all be destroyed before they can harm Earth. Hana made a sound like a wounded animal. My family lived there. My daughter. My partner. The light in the crystal pulsed faster, brighter. Proof. You have provided proof. Humanity destroys. Humanity kills its own. You are not ready. You have never been ready. We will complete the harvest now. No, Jiho said desperately. That was one person. One wrong person. The rest of us disagree. We can fix this. You cannot fix what you are, the light said. We are sorry. Harvesting will begin in 1 hour. The light went out. The crystal body went dark. Taemin slumped against the wall. We failed. Hana was weeping. Jiho had no words to comfort her. What could he say? One of his own officers had just proven the Veiled Ones right. Arrest Junho, Jiho ordered over the radio. Lock him up. Then get Captain Hyun on the line. We need every ship ready to fight. Fight? Sora said. Commander, we cannot fight moon-sized vessels. We will lose. Then we lose fighting instead of being harvested like animals. Back on the Eternal Vigil, Jiho gathered his senior staff. Captain Hyun appeared on the video screen from Earth looking old and tired. I heard what happened, Hyun said. Junho has been arrested. But the damage is done. The Dwellers lost an entire city. 20,000 people dead. I know, Jiho said. And now the Veiled Ones think we are exactly what they feared. Violent and destructive. Perhaps they are right, Elder Kyung said. He had come to the ship with Hana. Perhaps humans cannot be trusted. No, Hana said suddenly. Everyone turned to look at her. No, I do not accept that. Your family is dead, Kyung said gently. Killed by Earth people. Yes, killed by one Earth person. One bad person. Hana looked at Jiho. But this man came to find us. He risked everything to answer our beacon. Dr. Mirai shared her knowledge freely. Engineer Taemin worked with them as equals. Most humans are good. Most humans want peace. Most is not enough, Kyung said. It only takes one Junho to destroy everything. Then we prove that one bad person is not enough, Hana said. We prove that the good ones will stop the bad ones. We prove that humans can be trusted because we will police ourselves. Jiho stared at her. How? I go to the Veiled Ones. I speak for the Dwellers. I tell them that despite what happened, despite my daughter being killed, I choose to trust you. I choose peace over revenge. If they will not listen to you, maybe they will listen to me. They will harvest you, Sora said. Maybe. But maybe not. Maybe they will see that humans have changed, that we can grow, that we are worth saving without being destroyed. Hana looked at Elder Kyung. For 500,000 years we survived by hiding. I am tired of hiding. I want to live in the light again. Even if it means risking everything. Kyung was quiet for a long time. Then he nodded slowly. Very well. Go with my blessing. Show the sleepers that the dwellers have not forgotten how to be brave. Mireille worked quickly to modify the communication system. Within 30 minutes, they had a direct link to the Veiled Ones. Hana stood before the communication array, trembling but determined. Jiho stood beside her. Together? She asked. Together, Jiho agreed. The message went out. Mathematics and human language mixed together. Veiled Ones, we are Commander Jiho and Hana of the Dwellers. We request one more chance to speak. One more chance to prove humanity can be trusted. Silence. Then the response came. Why should we listen? You have proven our point. Humans kill each other. Because I am the proof you are wrong, Hana said. Her voice was steady now. My daughter died today. Killed by a human. I should hate all Earth people. But I do not. Because most Earth people are good. Because Commander Jiho risked everything to find us. Because humanity came back after 500,000 years. That is who humans are. We come back. We try again. We never give up. Silence stretched, then... Interesting. Very interesting. We will delay the harvest. We will give you one test. Prove you can unite. Prove the Dwellers and Earth humans can become one species again. You have 6 months. If you succeed, we will reconsider. If you fail, we harvest. The communication ended. Jiho looked at Hana. 6 months to unite 2 groups that have been apart for 500,000 years. It is impossible, Kyung said. Then we do the impossible, Hana said. Humans are good at that. Part 5. The return 6 months. It sounded like a long time until Jiho started making lists of everything that needed to happen. Unite 2 human cultures separated by 500,000 years of evolution. Convince the Dwellers that Earth people would not betray them again. Convince Earth that the Dwellers were not dangerous. Build trust. Build infrastructure. Build a future. 6 months was not long enough, but they tried anyway. The first month was the hardest. Elder Kyung refused to meet with Earth officials. Too many Dwellers wanted revenge for the attack. On Earth, the Council was terrified of the pale underground humans and wanted all the ships to return home immediately. Jiho and Hana worked as mediators, traveling between Earth and the Kepler system. They held meetings. They showed videos. They told stories. Slowly, very slowly, people began to listen. Dr. Mireille proposed the first joint project, a research station where Earth scientists and Dweller engineers could work together. She chose a neutral location on Kepler 442b in one of the empty surface cities. Within weeks, 50 people from each culture were living and working side by side. Engineer Taemin became the project lead. He worked with Earth engineers to combine Dweller underground technology with Earth fold drive systems. The resulting designs were brilliant. Ships that could travel through space and underground. Habitats that could exist in any environment. We are stronger together, Taemin said during one presentation. Earth people have forgotten how to live underground. We Dwellers have forgotten the stars. Together we remember everything. But not everyone agreed. Officer Junho, locked in the ship's brig, still had supporters. A group called the Earth Purity Movement began spreading messages that the Dwellers were not truly human anymore. They were dangerous mutants who should be avoided. Among the Dwellers, a group called the Deep Faith believed that returning to the surface was betraying their ancestors, who had sacrificed everything to survive underground. They saw the partnership with Earth as weakness. The tension grew. Arguments became common. Twice, fights broke out between workers at the research station. Jiho spent more time breaking up conflicts than building unity. 3 months into the experiment, disaster nearly struck again. A Dweller named Minho, who had lost family in Junho's attack, attempted to sabotage one of Earth's ships. He was caught before he could cause real damage, but the incident set everything back. Trust that had taken months to build evaporated in hours. Hana called an emergency meeting in the main research station. She gathered representatives from both groups and made them sit in the same room. "I have something to say," she began, "and all of you will listen." The room fell silent. Everyone knew Hana's story. Everyone knew she had lost more than most. "I hate Junho," she said quietly. "I hate him for killing my daughter. Every day I wake up wanting revenge. Every day I think about how easy it would be to make Earth people suffer the way I have suffered." She paused. "But I do not do it. Do you know why?" No one answered. "Because my daughter believed in the stars. She grew up listening to my stories about Earth, about the sun, about grass and rain and all the things we lost when we went underground. She wanted to see them. She wanted to be part of both worlds." Hana's voice broke. "Junho killed her body, but if I give in to revenge, I kill her dream, and I will not do that." She turned to Minho. "You tried to sabotage the Earthship. You wanted to hurt them the way they hurt us. I understand. But you are making the same mistake Junho made. You are letting one bad person convince you that everyone is bad." "They killed our people," Minho said. "One of them did. One. There are 3,000 Earth people here now. 3,000 people who came to help us, who brought food and medicine and technology, who treat us as equals. Are they all guilty because of Junho?" Minho was quiet. "We can hate one person without hating everyone," Hana said. "That is what it means to be civilized. That is what will save us from the veiled ones." Elder Kyung stood up slowly. "She is right. I have been wrong. I let my fear and anger blind me. These Earth people are not our enemies, they are our family. They came back for us, we must accept that gift." One by one, others began to stand. First the dwellers, then the Earth people. Not everyone. Some stayed seated, still angry, still afraid, but enough stood that Jiho felt hope for the first time in weeks. The next 3 months were better. Not perfect, but better. Joint patrols kept peace between the groups. Mixed teams worked on construction projects. Dweller children visited Earth through video calls and saw oceans and clouds for the first time in their lives. Earth people learned to appreciate the beauty of the underground cities, the glowing gardens, the carved stone architecture, the quiet dignity of a people who had survived impossible odds. Slowly, the two groups became one, but they were running out of time. 1 week before the deadline, Jiho received a message from the Veiled Ones. "We will arrive tomorrow to observe. We will make our judgment." That night, Jiho could not sleep. He stood in the observation deck of the Eternal Vigil, looking down at Kepler 442b. The planet looked different now. Lights covered the surface where empty cities had been dark. The research station had grown into a proper settlement. 2,000 people lived there now, half dwellers and half Earth people. It was beautiful. But was it enough? Hana found him there. "You should rest." "I cannot. What if we failed? What if it is not enough?" "Then we failed trying," Hana said. "That is better than not trying at all." The Veiled Ones arrived the next morning. One ship descended, from orbit, smaller than the moon-sized vessels but still enormous. It landed in the plaza of the main settlement. A being emerged. 3 meters tall, crystalline and metallic, exactly like the dead one the dwellers had preserved. It walked through the settlement, observing everything. Jiho, Hana, Elder Kyung, and Captain Hyun followed at a respectful distance. The being watched Earth engineers working with dweller craftsmen to build a new habitat. It observed mixed families eating together in a common area. It listened to children playing, dweller and Earth children speaking a mixed language that was evolving naturally between them. After 3 hours, it returned to the plaza and spoke. Its voice was mathematics that became words. "We have observed. We have questions." "We will answer," Jiho said. "Why do you trust each other? You have been separated for 500,000 years. You have every reason to be enemies." Hana stepped forward. "Because being enemies is easy. Trust is hard. We choose the hard path because it is better. One of your people killed dwellers. One dweller tried to sabotage your ships. How do you handle those who break trust? We punish them, Elder Kyung said. But we do not punish everyone for the actions of one. Justice must be specific, not general. Why should we believe you will not destroy yourselves eventually? Humans are violent. Some humans are violent, Jiho said. But more humans are kind. More humans want peace. The violent ones are loud, but they are not the majority. We have learned to silence them without becoming them. The being was quiet for a long time. Then, we have watched 4,000 species rise and fall. All of them claimed to be different. All of them claimed they would not destroy themselves. They were wrong. Then we will be the first to prove you wrong, Hana said. Watch us. Come back in 100 years, 1,000 years. We will still be here, still growing, still learning, still choosing trust over fear. More silence. Jiho held his breath. We have made a decision, the being finally said. We will accept your proposal, but with conditions. You will share your fold drive technology with us. You will help us understand why it is superior to our methods. In exchange, we will share our archives, maps to 17 other lost human colonies. You will find them. You will unite them. You will prove that humans can be one species across many worlds. Jiho could barely believe it. You are giving us the other colonies? We are giving you a test, a larger test. If you fail, if you go to war with each other or with us, we will harvest all of you. But if you succeed, the being paused. If you succeed, we will learn from you. Perhaps we have been wrong. Perhaps preservation is not the only way to save species. Perhaps some species can be trusted to save themselves. The being turned to leave, then stopped. One more thing. You asked why you should trust each other despite being apart for 500,000 years. We will answer. Because you came back. Earth did not forget. The dwellers did not give up hope. 500,000 years and you still called each other family. That is why we are willing to give you this chance. That is what makes humans unique. The being returned to its ship and departed. As it rose into the sky, the plaza erupted in celebration. People cheered. Earth people and dwellers embraced. Elder Kyung wept openly. Jiho found Hana in the crowd. We did it. No, she said, smiling. We survived. Now we have to actually do it. 17 more colonies. How many other changed humans are out there? How many other groups have been waiting for rescue? Then we will find them all, Jiho said. However long it takes. 6 months later, Jiho stood in the same observation deck where this had all begun. But now he was not looking at Saturn's rings. He was looking at the new fleet assembling in orbit. 50 ships, all of them crewed by mixed teams. Dweller and Earth human working side by side. The first ship was called the Second Dawn. Its co-commanders were Hana and Ensign Daeun.